Sorry everyone, but despite the shortest walk to a market board, you're... But is it actually? I put this throwaway line in the previous video about the shortest walk from a main city Aetheryte to an inn room, and like the ending of The Stand, this question has had me tossing and turning late at night in my Kugane inn room, agonizing over the impulsive choice to make a claim about something on the internet without having objective, verifiable opinions based on cold, hard facts. I am first and foremost a scholar, so obviously the only information that can fill the pages of my neon glowing book made of Mandervillian space dust is information based on scientific experiments. The market board, of course, is a universally important fixture in the life of the modern Final Fantasy XIV player. It's where you can stare at glamour for hours while your wallet screams at you. It's where you can go to buy the stuff you need to turn in your crafting leaf quests to level up your crafters without even having to craft anything. And most importantly, it's a place for self-expression in the form of retainer names, like this guy quoting the Shawshank Redemption. I think I now hold the world record for the most Stephen King books referenced in Final Fantasy XIV videos. Anyway. Market boards are located in every major city in Final Fantasy XIV. To recap, that's Ul'dah, Gridania, Limsa Lominsa, Ishgard, Kugane, the Crystarium, and Old Sharlayan. There are also market boards in every residential district in the game, so those of us privileged enough to own a house are able to gain a slight advantage on speed due to the fact that you can teleport to your homestay quickly, and some of them are in very close proximity to the market board. As previously, I teleported to every main city's Aetheryte and ran to its market board. I did not use sprint or any other movement abilities and made sure to teleport from a different location to the Aetheryte every time. Timing started as last time from the frame I saw "You have entered a sanctuary" on the screen to the frame that the market board finished rendering. On my system, recording with OBS at 60 frames a second, the market board takes about 6 frames to draw fully. I recorded all of them in the same OBS session using the same settings, except this time I was watching the newest Dan Olsen video in the background. But I was watching it the entire time, gathering and editing footage, so there shouldn't be any discrepancies. And once again, because my home server is Gilgamesh, and Limsa and Gilgamesh looks like they're going to destroy the Krusty Krab, I decided to data center travel to Rafflesia on Dynamis, which somehow looks even more dead than Madeline did. This test initially seemed redundant because the clear favorites were going to be Old Sharlayan and Limsa Lominsa, mainly because you don't need to teleport to get to the market boards in either of these places. Yeah, we could just leave it to the assumptions as to which one of them is going to be the fastest, but if we did that, we'd all be teleporting to Gridania and wasting like 5 seconds every time we needed to go to an inn room. This is still worth testing even if you think you know the answer. I compiled the data, and here's what I found. Once again, we're going bottom up. In last place, the worst market board of the entire game is Gridania. I guess while they were all communing with nature in the way that Cheech and Chong intended, they forgot to put the market board in a convenient spot. With this stupid long walk between the Aetheryte and the fact that you need to turn around, it's just awful. Gridania makes the worst time in the entire game at 22 seconds, and has the lowest average at 21 seconds. I feel like this was in line with what I was expected, but the rest of the data surprised me quite a bit. Second worst, we're looking at the Crystarium. This one is significantly better than Gridania. The average came in at 16 seconds, which saves you about 5 seconds on average over going to Gridania. I gotta say, hanging out in the city makes me wish I was playing this game when it was current content. The city seems so dead now, but it's a gorgeous place to hang out in AFK. So these two were the biggest outliers in terms of average walk to a market board. Gridania and the Crystarium took 21 and 16 seconds respectively on average to get to the market board. My prediction was that Gridania would take the longest, the 4 in the middle would be lower, but still significantly worse because you need to take a city Aetheryte to get there the quickest, and that either Limsa or Sharlayan would win by a significant margin. However, according to my testing, I'd love to see someone repeat these tests to check my work, but according to my testing, every city in the game other than Gridania and the Crystarium fall within a range of less than 2 seconds. We begin with Kugane. The city with the fastest in-room is in the bottom half when it comes to the market boards, which is good because the teleports are fucking expensive and I really don't want to feel the need to spend all the gil if I can get to a market board faster. Kugane's average is about 12 seconds, and almost all of the times here were in a few frames of each other. Next is Ul'dah. Ul'dah is basically tied with Kugane in terms of speed. I was kind of hoping Ul'dah would be sneaky and pull out a win because I figured the market board might be so close to the Aethernet point that it didn't matter that there was a loading screen. Wishful thinking, I guess. Well, better luck next time. Average time was slightly faster than Kugane at 12 seconds. This one surprised me a lot, but of all the ones that you need to use the city Aethernet to get to, Ishgard is actually the fastest. I guess it's not that surprising, but this walk just feels longer than Kugane or Ul'dah's do. Any psychology majors in the chat want to help me with this one? Ishgard's time was a little over 11 seconds, which puts it within less than a second of the two best. Speaking of which, the second best is Old Charlian. I expected this one to be faster than Limsa, and on average there's a very, very small difference between the two, but Limsa Lominsa very slightly wins here. It's worth knowing that Limsa has the highest range of the data, but that's because it also has the fastest individual run of any market board in the game, clocking in at just over 8 seconds. The full spreadsheet is here if you're curious. With Dawntrail Early Access on the horizon, you bet my first mission will be updating you on how Dawntrail's most important features fit into the broader trend of Final Fantasy XIV's spread of mundane bullshit, as well as going through some actual gameplay, depending on how many friends I can get together to help me. After all, these are critical scientific pursuits, and the data collected here will serve the human race well for decades to come. How will people in 2034 know not to waste their time teleporting to Gridania to go to a market board?